In approximately 5 billion years, our Sun will begin the final phase of its stellar evolution by expanding into a red giant star that will grow so large it will engulf Mercury, Venus, and possibly Earth itself, while simultaneously increasing its luminosity to levels that will boil away our oceans, strip away our atmosphere, and reduce our planet to a molten ball of rock floating in the outer layers of our dying star, before the Sun finally collapses into a white dwarf and leaves behind a cold, dead solar system where no trace of human civilization or terrestrial life will remain. This is not a distant threat that future technology might prevent. This is an inevitable cosmic death sentence written into the laws of stellar physics that govern how stars live and die throughout the universe. What makes this solar apocalypse even more terrifying is that long before the Sun physically engulfs our planet, it will have already rendered Earth completely uninhabitable through a gradual increase in luminosity that will trigger runaway greenhouse effects, atmospheric loss, and global sterilization that will eliminate all life on our planet billions of years before the final stellar expansion begins. Stay with me because the timeline of solar death reveals a cosmic horror story where our Sun slowly transforms from the life-giving star that has nurtured Earth for billions of years into a stellar monster that will methodically destroy everything it once protected. And there is absolutely nothing that can be done to prevent this ultimate apocalypse that will erase all evidence that life ever existed in our solar system. The process of stellar death begins as hydrogen fuel in the Sun's core gradually depletes through nuclear fusion reactions that have been powering our star for the past 4.6 billion years. And as this fuel becomes scarce, the Sun will begin burning hydrogen in a shell around its core, causing the outer layers of the star to expand and cool, while the core contracts and heats up to temperatures that will initiate helium fusion in a process that makes the Sun increasingly unstable and luminous. During the first billion years of this dying process, the Sun's luminosity will increase by approximately 10%, which sounds modest but will be sufficient to trigger catastrophic changes in Earth's climate system that will make our planet uninhabitable for any form of life that exists today. The additional solar energy will cause Earth's oceans to evaporate at an accelerating rate, creating a dense water vapor atmosphere that will trap heat through an extreme greenhouse effect that will raise global temperatures to levels that will kill all plant and animal life, while preventing the formation of clouds that currently help regulate our climate through reflecting sunlight back to space. As water vapor continues to accumulate in the upper atmosphere, it will be broken apart by solar radiation into hydrogen and oxygen, with the lightweight hydrogen escaping to space, while the oxygen combines with surface rocks, gradually stripping away Earth's water supply and leaving behind a dry, superheated planet that resembles Venus more than the vibrant, life-supporting world we know today. The loss of Earth's magnetic field, which depends on convection in our molten iron core that will eventually cease as the planet cools and solidifies, will expose our atmosphere to direct bombardment by solar wind that will accelerate the stripping of our remaining atmosphere until Earth becomes an airless rock orbiting a bloated, dying star. Have you ever looked up at the Sun and felt grateful for the warmth and light it provides, while knowing that this same star will someday destroy everything you have ever known or loved? Share your thoughts in the comments about how it feels to know that our life-giving Sun carries within it the seeds of our ultimate destruction. Because this cosmic irony reveals the temporary nature of all life in a universe governed by stellar evolution. The red giant phase of solar evolution will last approximately 1 billion years, during which the Sun will pulsate and vary in brightness, while ejecting massive amounts of material into space through powerful stellar winds that will create a nebula of glowing gas surrounding the dying star. And any planets that survive the initial expansion will be bombarded by intense radiation and high-energy particles that will strip away their atmospheres and sterilize their surfaces. Even if Earth somehow survives being engulfed by the sun's expanded outer layers, it will be reduced to a scorched, airless rock orbiting within the hot, tenuous atmosphere of the red giant, experiencing surface temperatures of thousands of degrees that will melt rocks and vaporize any remaining organic compound that might have survived the earlier phases of solar death. The final collapse of the sun into a white dwarf will release enormous amounts of energy and create shock waves that will strip away the remaining atmospheres from any surviving planets while ejecting them from their original orbits, sending Earth and the other inner planets flying off into interstellar space as frozen, lifeless worlds that will wander through the galaxy for billions of years as cosmic orphans with no star to warm them. The white dwarf remnant of our sun will continue to shine for trillions of years, but it will be a tiny, incredibly dense object about the size of Earth, but with half the mass of the current sun, providing so little heat and light that any planets remaining in the outer solar system will be frozen to temperatures near absolute zero, creating a cosmic graveyard where the remnants of our solar system will slowly decay through radioactive processes over timescales that dwarf the entire history of life on Earth. The most disturbing aspect of this solar apocalypse is that it represents just one example of the inevitable death of every star in the universe, meaning that every planetary system, every possible form of life, and every potential civilization throughout the cosmos faces the same ultimate fate of stellar death and cosmic isolation. Even if humanity survives long enough to witness the death of our sun, we will be forced to watch the same process play out with any other star we might have colonized, creating an endless cycle of stellar death and planetary destruction that will continue until the last stars in the universe burn out and leave behind a cold, dark cosmos filled with stellar remnants and frozen worlds that will never again know the warmth of stellar fire. The timeline of 5 billion years seems incomprehensibly distant from human perspectives, but it represents less than half the current age of the universe, and the stellar death process that will destroy our solar system has already begun with the gradual increase in solar luminosity that will make Earth uninhabitable in just 1 billion years. A timeframe that, while still vast compared to human history, represents a cosmic tomorrow when measured against the deep time scales of stellar evolution. Advanced civilizations that might exist 1 billion years from now will face impossible choices as they watch their home star begin the process of planetary sterilization, forced to either develop interstellar travel capabilities that can transport entire populations to other star systems, or accept extinction as their sun transforms from protector to destroyer. The search for exoplanets and potentially habitable worlds takes on tragic significance when viewed from the perspective of stellar death, because every Earth-like planet discovered around sun-like stars is destined to experience the same fate of gradual heating followed by stellar engulfment, making all planetary systems temporary oases of habitability in a universe where stellar death ensures that no world can remain habitable forever. Current research into stellar evolution and planetary atmospheres reveals that the transition from habitable to uninhabitable conditions during stellar death may happen much more rapidly than previously thought, with climate models suggesting that once runaway greenhouse effects begin, a planet can become completely sterile within just a few million years. An instant in cosmic time that would leave no opportunity for life to adapt or technological civilizations to develop countermeasures. The death of our sun will not just eliminate life on Earth, but will also destroy all evidence that our planet ever hosted the incredible diversity of biological life that has evolved over billions of years, erasing the evolutionary history of countless species and eliminating any record of human civilization and technological achievement that future cosmic archaeologists might otherwise discover. This solar apocalypse represents the ultimate deadline for human expansion beyond Earth, because any portion of our species that remains tied to our home planet when the sun begins its final evolutionary phase, will share the fate of Earth itself, being gradually sterilized by increasing solar radiation before finally being incinerated in the outer layers of our dying star. We are living in the middle chapters of our solar system story, enjoying the stable, life-supporting phase of solar evolution, while knowing that the final chapters will inevitably tell the story of planetary destruction and stellar death that awaits every world orbiting every star throughout the universe. Subscribe and turn on notifications to explore more about the cosmic forces that make all life in the universe temporary, because understanding stellar death reveals both the preciousness of our current moment in cosmic history and the ultimate challenges facing